Did you know that just one small glass of water before bed could completely change the way your body wakes up the next morning? That's right, this simple drink holds a quiet power from nature itself. It helps you sleep more deeply, improves digestion, and even slows the signs of aging. Today, I want to share with you a little secret that most doctors rarely talk about. Clove water at night. It's a simple nightly ritual, yet it has the power to make you feel healthier, lighter, and more youthful with every new day. You know, after more than 30 years of working with patients who struggle with insomnia, I've realized something. Sometimes what they truly need isn't another pill, but a small, gentle habit at night. I once had a 67-year-old patient who told me that for years she relied on sleeping pills just to get a few hours of peace. Then one day she decided to try something simple, a warm glass of clove water before bed. Just 2 weeks later she called me and said, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I slept straight through the night." Eugenol, a natural compound found in cloves, has the remarkable ability to calm the nervous system, ease tension, and help the brain shift into a state of deep rest. Imagine your body as a quiet field after a storm. It needs stillness to heal. That warm glass of clove water is like a soft breeze, gently restoring balance. And when you begin to sleep more deeply, everything else in your life, from your mood to your overall health, starts to change too. Have you ever noticed that your stomach feels a little heavier after meals as the years go by? I see this all the time in my patients. They don't eat much, yet after dinner they feel bloated, uncomfortable, sometimes even lose sleep because their stomach seems to be protesting. After the age of 50, our digestive system naturally slows down. The body produces fewer digestive enzymes, which means food lingers longer in the stomach, leaving us feeling sluggish and full. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, after dinner I just want to lie down. It feels like there's a rock in my stomach." I suggested something very simple, a warm glass of clove water before bed. Just a few days later, he came back smiling. "Doctor, I'm no longer waking up at night because of indigestion." Cloves contain eugenol, a natural compound that stimulates digestive enzymes and eases stomach spasms. It also has gentle antibacterial properties that help reduce harmful bacteria in the gut. That little glass of clove water is like a quiet friend, helping your stomach work more smoothly so you can fall asleep comfortably and wake up the next morning with a lighter, more peaceful feeling inside. I want you to imagine this. Your liver is like a factory that never shuts down. Whether you're working, eating, or fast asleep, it quietly filters out everything your body doesn't need: alcohol, medication, fat, and even the stress that builds up throughout the day. But as the years go by, that factory starts to grow tired. Many of my patients over 60 tell me they constantly feel fatigued. Their skin looks dull, and even when they eat less, they still feel heavy inside. And when we run tests, most of them show signs of an overworked liver. One of my patients used to have a small glass of wine every night for 20 years. When he began drinking a warm glass of clove water before bed, just a few weeks later, his liver enzyme levels had improved significantly. Cloves contain eugenol, a powerful antioxidant compound that helps protect liver cells from damage and supports the body's natural detox process. When you drink clove water before sleep, you're giving your liver a loyal assistant, one that helps it rest, repair, and restore balance in silence. Because sometimes the best way to care for your body isn't by doing more, but by helping it do less. And do it better. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night because your knees or shoulders were aching? After the age of 50, that feeling becomes familiar to many people, like a quiet reminder that the body is aging and the joints aren't as flexible as they once were. I remember one of my patients, Susan, 64 years old, telling me that every morning she had to sit on the edge of the bed for several minutes before she could stand because her knees were so stiff. But after just 3 weeks of drinking a warm glass of clove water before bed, she smiled and said, "I'm still the same age, but my body doesn't feel as heavy as it used to." Eugenol, the natural compound found in cloves, is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It helps reduce swelling, ease pain, and soothe inflamed tissues, especially during the night when your body is at rest and ready to heal. I often tell my patients this: sleep is the strongest medicine for recovery, and clove water is like the friend that helps your body absorb that medicine more effectively. So if you're living with those dull, lingering aches, try a warm glass of clove water before bed. Sometimes the smallest change can be the beginning of mornings free from pain. I want you to imagine this. Your heart is like a conductor, and your circulatory system is the orchestra playing without pause. When blood flow slows down or the vessels narrow, that beautiful rhythm begins to falter, and you start to feel tired, dizzy, or even notice your hands and feet getting cold. After 50, this happens to many people. I once had a patient who told me his hands were always cold, even in the middle of summer. I suggested he try drinking a warm glass of clove water each night. About 3 weeks later, he smiled and said, "Doctor, I don't just feel warmer, I'm sleeping better and my headaches are gone." Cloves contain eugenol, a compound that helps relax blood vessels, improve circulation, gently lower blood pressure, and support the heart's efficiency. When your blood vessels open up, your heart doesn't have to work as hard, and every cell in your body receives more oxygen. I often tell my patients, a glass of clove water in the evening is like helping your heart take a deep breath, to slow down, to rest, and to find its rhythm again. Because in the end, what truly matters isn't just living longer. It's allowing your heart to keep beating calmly, gently, one peaceful day at a time. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten what you came in for? Or started telling a story, only to stop mid-sentence because the next word just wouldn't come? At 50 or 60, that's more common than you might think. Memory starts to play hide-and-seek with us. I once had a patient, Helen, who used to joke, "I'm not afraid of getting old. I'm just afraid I'll go to the store in the morning and forget where I put my keys by evening." When I suggested she try a warm glass of clove water every night, she laughed, thinking it was just an old folk remedy. But a few weeks later, she came back and said, "I don't know if it's the clove water or something else, but my mind really feels clearer." Science actually supports this. Eugenol and flavonoids found in cloves help protect brain cells, improve blood flow to the brain, and support neural repair while you sleep. Nighttime is when the brain organizes memories and clears away mental clutter. And clove water acts like a quiet friend, helping that process run more smoothly. By morning, you may find your mind lighter, sharper, and ready to start the day with a clarity you thought you'd lost. Do you remember how confident it felt to smile freely? A big, genuine smile? Yet for many people after 50, smiling starts to feel harder. Not because they're unhappy, but because of bad breath, sensitive gums, or bleeding when they brush. I once met a woman who wore a mask even when she didn't have to. She whispered, "Doctor, I'm embarrassed. My breath just isn't pleasant anymore." I suggested something very simple, rinsing her mouth with diluted clove water every night. Just a few weeks later, she returned, beaming, "I think I've found my 40-year-old smile again." There's nothing magical about it. Cloves contain eugenol, a natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory compound that kills odor-causing bacteria, prevents tooth decay, and soothes swollen gums. Even Western dentists recognize clove extract as a silent friend of oral health. What I love most about this nightly ritual is that it doesn't just clean your mouth. It helps you end the day with a sense of freshness, both in your breath and in your mind. Because sometimes confidence begins with something as simple as a clean, comfortable smile. Have you noticed that when we were younger, getting caught in the rain didn't seem to matter? But as we grow older, our bodies become more vulnerable. We catch colds more easily, feel tired more often. I hear this from many of my patients, especially during the winter months. One of them, Margaret, 61 years old, once told me, "Doctor, every time the weather turns cold, I know I'm going to catch something." I suggested she try adding one small evening habit, a warm glass of clove water before bed. It sounded simple, but after just a month, she realized she wasn't getting sick as often, and she felt stronger overall. The reason is clear. Cloves are rich in vitamin C and powerful antioxidants that help activate white blood cells, your body's first line of defense against viruses, bacteria, and other invaders. I often tell my patients, your immune system is like a loyal group of old soldiers, still faithful, but they need care and renewed strength to fight well. A warm glass of clove water each night is how you recharge them. Sometimes it's the quiet, consistent habits that help you move through the coldest seasons. with a healthier body and a steadier mind. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt dizzy or drained right after a meal? As if your energy suddenly dropped to zero? Many people assume it's just getting older, but in truth it may be a sign that your blood sugar is fluctuating more than it should. After 50, the body's response to insulin becomes less efficient, making it harder to keep glucose levels stable. Cloves contain eugenol, a natural compound that helps improve insulin sensitivity, allowing the body to use sugar more effectively while preventing sudden spikes and crashes. When consumed at night, as your body enters a resting state, this effect becomes even more powerful. I often tell my patients, balance doesn't always come from big changes. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as a small nightly habit, like a warm glass of clove water before you close your eyes. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night struggling to breathe or coughing so much that you can't get back to sleep? As we grow older, our respiratory system loses some of its resilience. The lungs become more prone to inflammation, the throat more sensitive, and even a small change in the weather can make breathing feel heavier. I once had a patient who told me his biggest fear was winter nights, because once the coughing began, he wouldn't sleep a wink. I suggested he try a warm glass of clove water before bed. 3 weeks later, he called me with a calmer voice. "I still cough a bit, doctor, but it no longer burns or keeps me up all night." And that makes perfect sense. Eugenol in cloves has anti-inflammatory properties that soothe the respiratory lining, ease irritation, and help clear the lungs. I often tell my patients, think of your lungs as a garden, and every breath as a breeze passing through. When that garden is cared for, the coughing quiets down, and you can finally take a deep, peaceful breath. Not just with your lungs, but with your whole spirit. I want you to imagine this. Our bones are like a bridge. They carry the entire weight of our body and keep us standing strong against time. But as the years pass, that bridge quietly weakens, little by little. You don't see it, you don't hear it, until one day, when you bend down to pick something up or step off a curb, you realize your knees don't feel as steady as they once did. I once treated a woman named Laura, 65 years old, who proudly told me she had never broken a bone in her life. Then one small slip in her kitchen led to a hip fracture. During her recovery, she decided to make some changes. One of them was drinking a warm glass of clove water every night. 6 months later, her bone density test showed noticeable improvement. Eugenol, the key compound in cloves, helps stimulate bone-building cells while slowing down calcium loss. It's like having a quiet craftsman inside your body, strengthening the worn beams of your structure. A nightly glass of clove water may not turn back time, but it helps you stay strong and grounded. So every step you take still carries that same sense of freedom and confidence, no matter your age. Have you ever looked in the mirror one morning and noticed your skin doesn't look as vibrant as it used to? The fine lines, dark spots, and dullness appear slowly, quiet traces left by the passing years. I once had a 62-year-old patient who told me, "Doctor, I don't want to look younger. I just want to look healthy, natural." And that's what I love most about mature women. They're not chasing perfection, they're embracing authenticity. When I suggested she try a warm glass of clove water every night, she was skeptical. But a few weeks later she told me, "My skin doesn't feel dry anymore, and every morning it looks a little brighter." Science explains this beautifully. Cloves are rich in antioxidants like eugenol and vitamin C, which neutralize free radicals, the main culprits behind premature aging. They also help stimulate collagen production, the scaffolding that keeps your skin firm and elastic. I often remind my patients, nighttime isn't just for sleep, it's when the body renews itself. A glass of clove water before bed nourishes you from the inside out, giving your skin a natural glow. Not the kind that shouts for attention, but a quiet, gentle radiance that comes from true health and inner peace. I often tell my male patients this. Sexual health isn't just about the body. It's about confidence, about feeling fully alive in your own skin. Many men after 50 begin to notice changes, less strength, less stamina, and they often suffer in silence, sometimes with embarrassment. I remember Robert, 63, who once told me, "Doctor, I don't feel like myself anymore." But then he started a simple nightly habit, a warm glass of clove water before bed. A few weeks later he called and said, "I feel my energy coming back. not just in my body, but in my spirit. Science backs this up. Cloves contain eugenol, a compound that helps boost nitric oxide production, relax blood vessels, and improve circulation, especially to more sensitive areas. Better blood flow means improved natural performance and vitality. And I want you to understand this. Regaining your strength doesn't always come from expensive treatments or pills. Sometimes it begins with restoring circulation, of blood, of energy, and of confidence in your own body. A warm glass of clove water each night can be that small beginning to a greater renewal. Have you ever gone for a routine checkup and heard your doctor say, "Your cholesterol's a bit high"? For many people, that phrase becomes a quiet worry, because they know that when bad cholesterol, LDL, rises, the heart starts working harder and blood vessels slowly narrow, often without symptoms. I remember one of my patients, 61 years old, who generally ate well, but his tests still showed high LDL and low HDL. I suggested something simple: drink a warm glass of clove water each night, along with light evening walks. 6 weeks later, his blood results had improved remarkably. He smiled and said, "I never thought such a small spice could make me feel so much lighter." Recent studies show that eugenol in cloves can help cleanse the arteries, reducing LDL, bad cholesterol, while increasing HDL, good cholesterol. Think of it as a quiet worker, polishing away tiny deposits so blood can flow freely and the heart can work more easily. I often tell my patients, caring for your heart doesn't have to begin with drastic changes. Sometimes it's the smallest habit, a warm glass of clove water before bed, that allows your heart to breathe a little easier and your life to move with a gentler rhythm. Have you ever woken up feeling heavy, foggy, as if you slept but never truly rested? I've met hundreds of patients who describe the same thing. They go to bed on time but wake up tired and sluggish. And I always tell them this: sleep only restores you when the body is quietly cleansing and renewing itself through the night. I remember Joanne, 58, who used to say she couldn't start her day without 2 cups of coffee. When I suggested she try a warm glass of clove water before bed, she laughed and said, "Doctor, I need caffeine, not spice." But 3 weeks later, she came back with a smile. "My mornings are different now. I feel awake, light, and I don't rely on coffee anymore." Eugenol found in cloves helps ease tension while supporting the liver and digestion as you sleep. Your body detoxes naturally, your breathing slows, and your cells repair themselves. So when morning comes, you don't just wake up, you're renewed. I want you to imagine this. Tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for coffee, you open the window, take a deep breath, and feel your body light as air. That's the quiet gift left behind by your glass of clove water the night before. Have you ever lain in bed at night, unable to quiet your mind, thinking about the unfinished tasks, the people you worry about, or simply feeling that restless emptiness? At this age, many people tell me they're not afraid of fatigue. They're afraid of not being able to find peace anymore. And I always share with them one small, gentle ritual I believe in: a warm glass of clove water before bed. I remember a 60-year-old patient who suffered from insomnia caused by years of stress. She had tried everything: sleeping pills, chamomile tea, even meditation. Then one night, she brewed clove water as I suggested. A few days later, she told me, "Doctor, when I drink it, it feels like I'm breathing again for the first time." The natural aroma of cloves doesn't just smell pleasant, it helps reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps our minds racing. As you sip that warm water, the scent fills your chest, quietly reminding your body, it's time to let go. I often say this: you don't need complicated meditation to find peace. Sometimes all it takes is a few quiet moments with the gentle warmth and fragrance of clove water. And just like that, calm returns and sleep finds its way back to you. Let me ask you something honest. How many times have you promised yourself, "This week I'll eat a little less," only to find yourself late at night, standing in front of the fridge saying, "Just a little snack"? Believe me, I've heard that story from hundreds of my patients, and I've been there myself. One woman I'll never forget was Linda, 57. She told me the hardest part wasn't dieting, it was resisting the late-night cravings. I suggested she try drinking a warm glass of clove water before bed. 3 weeks later, she came back with a bright smile and said, "Doctor, it's amazing. I still enjoy food, but I don't crave sweets the way I used to." That's because compounds in cloves, especially eugenol, help boost metabolism, support efficient calorie burning, and reduce nighttime hunger. The gentle aroma of cloves also soothes the mind, helping you relax instead of turning to food for comfort. I often tell my patients, weight control isn't a battle with the scale. It's a journey toward inner balance. And sometimes that journey begins with something beautifully simple, a warm glass of clove water before bed. I want you to imagine this. You're brushing your hair in the morning and a few strands fall onto your shoulders. Not many, but enough to make you sigh quietly. For many people after 50, that moment is a reminder that time is moving on and the body is changing. One of my patients once told me, "My hair used to be my pride, and now every time I look in the mirror, I see how fragile it's become." I suggested she try something gentle, rinsing her hair a few times a week with warm, diluted clove water and drinking a small glass before bed. A month later, she returned with a smile that spoke for itself. "My hair isn't falling out like before, and my scalp feels calm, not dry or itchy anymore." This isn't magic, it's science. Cloves contain eugenol, a potent antioxidant that reduces scalp inflammation, improves blood circulation around the hair roots, and protects follicles from stress and aging. I often tell my patients, your hair isn't just about beauty, it's a reflection of your overall health. And sometimes, caring for it doesn't require expensive treatments. Just a natural habit, a warm glass of clove water or a soothing rinse with its gentle fragrance, can help you feel renewed, youthful, and naturally vibrant once again. I want you to imagine this. Every single day, millions of chemical reactions take place inside your body, and some of them create tiny sparks called free radicals. When we're young, our bodies can easily extinguish those sparks. But as we age, if left unchecked, they can quietly cause inflammation, damage cells, and over time contribute to serious diseases, including cancer. One of my patients, 67 years old, was always mindful of his health because his family had a history of colon cancer. When he began drinking a warm glass of clove water each night, he told me he felt lighter and, more importantly, less anxious. He said, "Doctor, I feel like I'm doing something good for myself, even if it's just one small glass a day." And he was right to feel that way. Eugenol, the powerful antioxidant found in cloves, helps neutralize free radicals and calm chronic inflammation, two root causes behind the development of cancerous cells. I always tell my patients this: there's no miracle cure that makes us immune to disease, but there are quiet, consistent habits that act like a shield, protecting us gently and faithfully throughout our lives. Have you ever noticed how if one person in the family catches a cold, a few days later everyone starts coughing or sniffling too? At our age, the immune system isn't as strong as it once was, and the body becomes more vulnerable to even mild infections. I've had many patients tell me, "Doctor, I just went to the grocery store, and somehow I caught a cold." That's when I share with them one small but powerful habit: drinking a warm glass of clove water before bed. I remember Charles, 70 years old, who loved gardening but often caught colds whenever the weather changed. After I suggested he start drinking clove water regularly, he called me later and said, "Doctor, it's strange. This winter I haven't been sick once." His story made me smile because science has long confirmed this. Eugenol in cloves has strong antibacterial properties that help destroy harmful bacteria and microbes, from respiratory pathogens to those that affect the digestive tract. The beauty of this habit lies in its timing. When you drink clove water at night, your body is at rest, and that's when your immune system works its hardest. Clove water acts like a natural armor, quietly protecting your body as you sleep. And in the morning, you wake up not just healthier, but also peaceful, knowing that your body has been gently cared for all through the night. If you're looking for a natural, safe, and effective way to care for your health every night, start today with just one warm glass of clove water. Try it for a week and feel the difference in your sleep, your mood, and your morning energy. If this video has been helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about, because sometimes one small habit tonight could lead to a lifetime of better health.